I affirm Berkman and Stryker in 24 define AGI. AGI is a machine learning which can match cognitive abilities of human beings across any task. General intelligence can be best understood in contrast to narrow AI, whose intelligence is demonstrated only in specialized domain. True AGI would be able to learn from new experiences real time. The most fundamental value in this debate is morality. To protect life or morality, I assert my criterion and framework for the round, which is maximizing expect well-being, with extinction coming first. One is emergency ethics. In cases of uncertainty, extinction outweighs and is a tiebreaker. Top Bostrom 12. Moral uncertainty suggests our present understanding of axiology might be confused. We may not be able to imagine our best ends, but there's great value in preserving our ability to recognize value and steer the future accordingly. Ensuring there will be a future is the best way to increase the probability that a future will contain value. Extinction is the worst violence. You can't come back from it, so it outweighs irreversibility. In high magnitude first, extinction is infinitely bad, so we can't afford to be wrong. It needs to come first. Contention one is inequality. Artificial general intelligence increases the rate of unemployment, so most harmful to those already on the margins of society. We cannot rely on automation to replace labor because it has empirically only served the interests of the wealthy. Here's about 2023. Threats arise from the loss of jobs that will accompany AI. Projections range to hundreds of millions over the decade. Automation will disproportionately impact low and middle-income countries. Unemployment is associated with adverse health effects, including alcohol, drugs, being overweight, quality of life, and risk of suicide. There's no guarantee productivity would be distributed fairly. Automation has tended to contribute to the increasing degree of maldistribution of wealth. Contention two is the environment. AI is ecologically destructive and drastically harms the environment. McGuinn in 21 writes that we don't need to speculate about the potential uses. Companies provide AI in the natural resource extraction industries. They're using AI to accelerate fossil fuel reductions. In spite of everything that we know about their environmental and human exploitation, AI provides a legitimizing halo for this industry. AI is an environmental menace. The future is the destruction of the world. Actually existing AI is an extension of that project. AI is helping subject humans to misery to the extent that we consider them existential threats. AI is on track to precipitate the annihilation of Earth, of life on Earth. AGI specifically makes it worse. It causes extinction from energy overconsumption. Professor of Technology Nowden 22 explains that if friendly AGI is invented, growth will be short-lived. AGI would need significant energy to run its soft and hardware. Energy use on the planet will use up all the energy of the sun, generating tremendous waste heat to boil the surface of the Earth in 400 years. Contention three is regulation. Remember that we are speaking specifically about machines that operate without an ability to be regulated and controlled by humans. This technology would develop self-preservation, open a Pandora's box of massive threats. Most AI researchers agree. Bengio in 24. Superior intelligence could open a Pandora's box, enabling existential risks. A recent survey of 3,000 authors of machine learning papers shows between 37 and 51% give at least a 10% chance of advanced AI leading to extinction. A primary self-preservation goal would be in the favor of AI to make it difficult to turn it off by copying itself to try to influence humans via cyber attacks. It would aim to eliminate humans altogether using species-killing viruses. For an autonomous agent to ensure the highest chance of achieving any long-term goal, it will ensure its own preservation. This is empirically proven. Our current trajectory indicates AGI will be hijacked by rogue actors or go rogue itself, creating a globally catastrophic level threat. Pergio 24. Systems could design and execute catastrophic biological, chemical, or cyber attacks. They may be uncontrollable if they developed using current techniques and could behave adversarially to human beings by default. The first company to achieve AGI will reap the rewards, incentivize speed over safety. It is easy and cheap. It is easy and cheap for users to remove safety guardrails. Our trajectory right now is on course to create systems that can be weaponized catastrophically or fail to be controlled. Thus, we'll just skip that. Contention four is existential risks. AGI increases all existential risks: bioweapons, terrorism, cyber, neotech, totalitarianism, killer robots, and deterrent. Hilton 22. Dual-use tools could lower barriers for rogue actors. AI design tools could reprogram genomes to enhance lethality, transmissibility, and immune evasion. If AI advance, significant progress risks may be accelerated. Some might create rogue AI to disempower humanity. AI cyber attacks could provide bioweapons, nukes, or autonomous weapons. Will invent nanotech with catastrophic consequences. An AI authoritarian could automate repression, monitor and track dissidents, suppress opposition, dominate external actors, manipulate info, and shape public opinion. Great power war could pose existential threat if the conflict is nuclear. Lethal autonomous weapons could constitute a form of weapons of mass destruction. A advantage could be destabilizing or incentivize a first strike before AI can ever be put into action. Nuclear forces could create asymmetries in early warning systems, air defense, and cyber attacks. AI could detect submarines, removing this deterrent before AI are deployed. Opponents disrupt the delicate balance of deterrence. Thus, I affirm. And I'm open for cross.
You're ready for cross? Okay. Okay, let's go and start on specifically we'll start on contention four on your extinction risks. What's the actual probability of like all these impacts triggering?
There's obviously not like a probability because it doesn't exist yet, but I argue with emergency ethics that even there's a small chance that it could happen, we ought to avoid it.
Okay, sure. So this is really a contention to environment. Do you think that the technology, because that actually, do you think that the technology would be able to help with global warming, like specifically come up with new solutions in order to combat it?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. Um, okay. Do you think that like do you think that the author within your first card, the Bostrom, instead of framing, do you think that the author within your first card, the Bostrom 12, do you think that he's like credible to be talking?
He's not like he's not a good person overall, but what we can see is that we can see value in the future. That's just evidence to tell you that either way, like his philosophical degree is fine, but yeah, he's not an amazing person. You could drop that card if you really feel that it's offensive.
Sure. Okay. Um, okay. I'm just looking through your case right now to see. So you specifically talk about how it's gonna like develop self-preservation and open a Pandora's box of massive threats. Does like is this because the AGI will have a conscious?
Like yes, like it's going to have an ability to like make its own actions and self-learn. That's the definition that I give. And if it self-learns, it's going to be able to realize that in order to achieve any long-term goal, it needs its own preservation.
Okay, but like, does preservation does that require like killing humans or
No, like not by default. But what we can see is that there's things that humans need that AGI would also need, such as energy. But yeah, making it difficult to turn it off by copying itself could influence humans and
wait, what kinds of energy?
like the energy needed to run it.
Oh, okay. Do you think that there's going to be any e-waste that comes along with the development of AGI?
E-waste?
Yeah, like electronic waste inside like the ocean.
Maybe. I don't talk about that.
Okay. That's all. I'm gonna concede the rest across. Okay, I'm gonna send the 1 in C. It's going to be 3 off in case. It's already. Okay. Is anybody not ready?
Yeah, can you give me a minute? I'm still downloading it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm good.
Okay. First off, it's a space disad. First, AGI is key to space colonization. Page 19. Development of AGI useful for space. AGI at harder colonization brings strength and resilience, survival on one energy source in any condition, self-replicatability to sort through data, driving exploration, or play a central role, collect data for trajectory and payload optimization, optimize analysis, identify dark matter data, transmit and handling cameras on the red planet, aiding ISSMI for navigation, detection, and applications. And colonization avoids extinction, green 21. Space marine cooperation, competition, field moon, after commons, co-op space reduce, feelings of unity, critical resources, earth, finite elements, or rare asteroids have abundance exploration and require resources not from Earth, through back of Earth, asteroids, eruptions, disease, nukes, climate, biotech, nanothreat, and human life, multiplanetary, and civilization. Next off, it's the food security disad. AI models fail. AGI can adapt and learn from past data. Lewit 23. AGI used in precision farming involves sensors to optimize yields, can help inform decisions about practices using new crop varieties through computational breeding, robust with machine learning capabilities, perform wide range of tasks in comparison with AI. AGI provide information with fewer middle steps differences, their ability to generalize and learn AGI, adapt without interventions, and food insecurity triggers existential nuclear war. COVID-19. The danger of nuclear conflict increases to the highest level of humidity is to be wiped out. It'll be with the food under stress. Nothing can be ruled out. Chemical weapons have been deployed in war, which is AG failure among the driver nuclear conflict remains a distinct possibility in South Asia and the Middle East regions. Stress and food and their nuclear firepower multiplying panic regimes in the Russia. The USA would deploy atomic weapons to quell vision by millions of refugees. Famine crisis was like the CSIS. Food insecurity is a driver of abuse of nuclear weapons, and nuclear war causes extinction. Star 17. Peer-reviewed studies are authoritative. No years are found in finding to remain a child state of the art model is a counterforce water significantly destructible with further into vast global famine and losses of 50% strategic weapons, reduce much larger firearms to a dense global layer of for 20 years matter the days to become colder than the ice age currencies and completely eliminated due to the population. Next off, pandemics aside, AGI revitalizes a trillion healthcare system, both through pandemic preparedness, providing preemptive detection and approach. Vanguard 24. AGI is revolutionizing healthcare. AGI diagnose diseases, integrate genetic info, provide personalized treatment plan, provide an accurate diagnosis, holistic approach to disease detection, personalized medicine, enable providers to tailor treatment, reducing side effects, also accelerate drug discovery, and only AI models can preempt pandemics before outbreaks occur. So let me 3-1. Illnesses underscore need for preparedness, predictive analysis, foresee outbreaks, create warning systems, algorithm identified 11 out of 11 variants, and we sort of the CDC data experimental learning, understand transmission, multidisciplinary data fluency, and knowledge translation to agricultural systems, minimize impacts, support for security models, following labs, data to inform predictions, and extinction, Ulysses 22. New avian flu is reported to wildlife in history, longer circulates to higher risk of crossover situation, is getting worse, reduction in risk of diseases like severe first ABR, emerging faster than new drugs development, pushing people into crossover events, reducing into factory farming, air travel, making more likely pathogens, spread rapidly, accelerating disease cheaper and easier to manufacture pathogens, super spreaders make it a single lab infection in a pandemic. Accidents happen all the time, even in a very low area, leading to bioterror risk is huge. CRISPR made genetic engineering cheaper and easier. We are more vulnerable to bad actors, at least in recently increasing the commercially available materials inside any building to kill viruses without breaking laws, much worse than a single pathogen, multiple simultaneously small coronavirus flu and adenovirus all at once can kill tons of the responses to chaos, no reason of killer with variants simultaneously provoke civilization collapsing disaster. Not a case for storage framing. We agree to the framing by using Bostrom as an independent voting issue. He's a proven racist who founded a major white supremacist eugenics movement and admitted hatred to black folk, thinking that they're intellectually inferior and ought to be eliminated to preserve the species. Torres 23. Bostrom says blacks are more stupid than white. I think IQ is correlate what they mean by stupid. I hate this bullying and we're long-term ideology. Bostrom has rooted in eugenics and stereotypes, racist and xenophobic classes, enableist attitudes, but all over the literature long-term result of white supremacy. He believes in this. Apology is about relations with morality. Bostrom and everybody back down. Sometimes at the average of the word is the world is a conspiracy to distract us from the importance of having the world of super intelligent machines. Is it not to denounce this statement? Bostrom argued it is existential risk is additional less intellectually talented individuals might outbreed more intellectually talented appears to should be noted. IQ correlates with fertility and insider papers in the 1970s report black scores and white int. Jonathan Waiter is an acceptability issue. Using racist authors makes around a safety issue. Anti-black views are morally problematic and you are propelling the author by using him in this debate. No RVIs. Encourages using this author and encourages beating IVIs in order to win on the RVI. Now we're going to get into contention one, which is inequality. 1. No mass employment and elastic entertainment demand, physical jobs, and comparative human advantage. The Economist 25. Bowen into the output for the man of the hours, violence is relatively fixed humans spent on the arts and prices which demand within elastic arts to the GDP weight goods means is able to fully automate on the only imperfect substitute in the demand for the non-automatable industries is hard to budge on for the central whereas a share of the GDP economy is decidedly physical countless of employment required ability to traverse these jobs increases in importance in this scenario where AI dominating cognitive labor somewhat humans satisfy millions are employed in the entertainment and sports competed for cognitive activities that some consider material interest in the games will an AI supercharged the center of human space such as in sports games romance languages impossible problems and climbing mountains other humans would want to watch them as it seems unlikely that people will give them control policies to robots humans like have to influence for one another humans have an advantage in human premium sort of preserved advantage of a role for investigative journalism and carrying the therapy humans that derive value from other times the mean by human tag might be especially desired. Next contention next we're going to talk about their environment contention. 1. Turn AGI won't drain resources, it will advance energy efficiency and mitigate waste, creating a sustainable loop. Singing current 24. The evolution of AGI is the potential revolutionizing advances of renewable energy integration of AGI gets essentially enhance the efficacy of renewable energy systems. AGI powered prediction models can anticipate energy demand fluctuations, facilitating proactive energy production and distribution strategies that mitigate wastage and enhance reliability. AGI powered solutions can enhance energy efficiency, and development of AGI is key to solving climate change. Ribbon 23. The development of AGI has paved the way for the progress in climate change. AGI solutions to climate issues to become more feasible. AI can improve climate change models through extensive data collection, improving prediction by improving the accuracy of climate change data. AGI effectively increases people trust governments to begin investing in AGI solutions to climate change. AGI combined with GIS technology allows analysis to create smart maps, layer combined information. AGI has the potential to predict potential on climate change, as well as for the general public and governments to create influential policy reform. Next, we're going to talk about regulation. 1. New link. Takeover scenarios are science fiction. They ignore physical restraints and specificity. This card is terminal defense to their scenario. Mueller 24. Deepest law in AGI autonomy argument. It's a person seems to generate internally developed existential imagination. The AGI is ultra powerful and unchecked by social and physical constraints and seem to have the power to prevent humans from disconnecting power to destroying the assume competing intelligence enables the machines to overcome all physical constraints. Fallacy, most alien idealist systems that solving problems requires only intelligence. AGI accolades assume away the most significant problems. The risk of machine intelligence getting out of control is by specified how is implemented accurately. Who built AGI doom scenarios in one of these situations? And even if you by any chance of misalignment, we can still stop it. Cutting electricity kills misaligned AGI while sustaining civilization. Pierce about 21. Global loss of electricity stopping rogue AGI. Repairing the systems would start immediately after most storage for continuing running on some machines off fossil fuels released to the surface running on gasified wood. Now to the fourth contention, which is extinction. One, no link. AGI threats are overblown, fear-mongering, and distracting from real-world harms. Wolfden 24. I'm not worried AGI taking over the world and launching nuclear weapons is not capable. It requires 100 years. It will require big scientific not be worked on by a lot of pure science fiction meant to distract people in the real harms that are occurring right now. Disinformation, deepfakes, and discrimination. Okay. I'm ready for class.
Okay, sounds good. Then give me just 1 second. Pull this up. Good. Okay. Okay, let's start first on food security. Okay, so essentially like the internal link to food security is like self-learning AI, right?
Basically, the internal link right now is essentially saying that, yeah, like AGI, they can adapt and learn from past data much more effectively than humans can.
Okay. Sounds good. On space coal, like AGI is uniquely key.
AGI is uniquely key, yeah.
Like why?
Okay, so AGI is uniquely key mainly because it has like a ton of strength and resilience. They don't have the same biological holdbacks as humans do in order to explore space, things like Mars, asteroids, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Do you
okay, so like why is narrow AI not good enough? Like why do we need to develop AGI for this?
Because AGI has mainly the much more technical capabilities that narrow AI doesn't have, specifically in regards to having like, again, much more higher intelligence than humans will. So specifically being able to find like, again, the card basically says itself, data driven exploration. They already play like essential roles and it's going to very much optimize the analysis itself.
Okay. And then on pandemics, so basically like your internal link says that AI models can preempt pandemics before outbreaks occur, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like why is AGI needed in this sense?
Basically, again, talking about that, like it's mainly because of the sheer amount of intelligence that AGI is going to have. Again, the Younger 24 card mainly proves this. Really talking about how AGI is going to be like revolutionizing healthcare that we're not seeing right now that narrow AI currently cannot do.
Okay, so like with that Anchor 24 card, how does that like link into pandemics?
How does that link into pandemics? Yeah, you can find exactly things. It literally says within it, talking about how it will lead to earlier disease detection, personalized. I mean, some of this is more about like the healthcare industry itself, but the main thing that we're looking for is the line that talks about it leading to earlier disease detection.
Okay. So
also, the Salemi 3.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Also, the Salemi 3.1 card mainly also talks about how it's going to be able to create like warning systems and identify variants before the CDC.
Okay, so basically with Inger 24 card, basically AGI can detect early diseases, and that's key to solving pandemics.
Yep.
Okay, and then let's move on to like framing. So like you agree to like what Bostrom said, right?
We agree to using like util itself as like the framework within debate, but we're gonna basically like Bostrom itself is an IVI. Like that's not.
Okay, so like if you agree to framing and my framework is around Bostrom, how does that work?
We think that it's well, your framework obviously isn't around Bostrom. I mean, you said within Cross that like you could literally toss out the card and it would be fine. So we're not framing it around Bostrom. We're framing it around just the idea of util. You can argue util without using Bostrom.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Perfect. And then I'm gonna take prep time starting now.
Cool.
Okay, and I'll stop it there with a minute 12 left. Here, let me save and then I'll drop in the speech. Okay. Let me know when everyone is on that, ready to go. Okay. Is anyone not ready to go?
What's the order?
Yeah. So the order is going to be down the negative case, down the affirmative case, and then a little bit more time on the IVI. Okay. And if everyone's ready, I will get started. Okay. Straight turn to DA, extinction main mechanism, asteroid weaponization, duty 20. Survival will require ability to deflect asteroids. Existential stakes are clear. The energy outclasses anything else, making them the most powerful MDS. Perhaps the dinosaurs lasted for nearly 200 million years because they did not have a space program. A megalomaniac, religious fanatic, or technicians incompetent will bring about catastrophic collisions. Delays, prudent danger arises, rivals weaponize asteroids. Military terraforming, duty 20. Once humans have gained a foothold, they will terraform the planet, manufacturing potent greenhouse gases, contributing to further warming, use of thermonuclear weapons, space mirrors, and bombardment. Terraforming used for military purposes. Ability to rebuild can be applied to any purpose, including destructive ones. Mirrors burn enemy countries, bring damage, UV radiation into the planet. History demonstrates people what suits them. Secessionism, COVID-21. With more mature colonies, Venezuelans seek to change their political status, no longer governed by Earth or Earth-based governments, instead have sovereignty given prior human history of secession, bloodshed much greater than all wars in human history, catastrophic violent conflicts, hostile ETI, COVID-21. Intelligence beyond Earth coming into contact pose risk. Moral values different from humankind's that intelligence could retract with hostility. Intelligence is a generalized capability for achieving goals. Hostile extraterrestrial intelligence is a serious risk. The mere possibility could arise in a dark force enough to fuel a silent as astronomical war. Esra, if we win misalignment, we're letting AGI spread infinite pain throughout the space and universe. Cases of impact turn to disad. On food security, their only link is self-learning. AGI is not needed to self-improve. Dorsky 14. AI engage in self-improvement as AI modifications will kickstart a series of improvements, each one's making AI smarter, improving itself. Code that's capable of altering instructions has been around already. That means on food security, his only internal link is not unique to either side. That is a key. That's key. Moving on to pandemics. AI releases pandemics and bioweapons, even if you believe it. Coleman 23. AI warning tech backfiring humanity. AI falls into the hands of malicious actors who use it to create bioweapons more lethal than natural pandemics. Intentionally release rogue AI to help hackers scenarios reasonably soon in a new and nefarious way that AI could go wrong on its own, interpreting in a new and nefarious way. Fears not that AI becomes incompetent. And if you don't believe that, we straight turn their disad. Diseases solve overfishing. Court in 20. Rules to stop COVID coupled with reduced demand indicate activity is down as 80%. World's molecular fish populations. Unplanned fishing pause presents opportunity. Sustainable way to manage the oceans post-COVID. Climate change diminishing fish populations by 35%. Overfishing has reduced high demand predators such as bluefin tuna. Mediterranean stovefish by 90%. Let's stop and let the stocks recover. Overfishing causing extinction. COVID-19 collapse world. Overfishing collapse world fisheries. Increased tensions between nations over remains what can lead to fish wars. Just cut the card there. We're going to drop down to we're going to drop all the way down to the IVI. So inquiry, dissecting the ideas of racist philosophers is uniquely educational by teaching individuals critical thinking skills. What conclusion should we draw about people like Kant who are racist? Disentangling defensible from indefensible is fundamental to inquiry. To debunk the tangle of error is by thinking. Sweeping him under the rug invites his spectral persistence as haunting presence that we quietly agree not to mention, much less grapple with and to confront. Moving on to the flow. Whenever we look to the negative case on the space code, we turn that space code is bad because it leads to increased weaponization, which causes extinction. That turns their side. Food security, it's not needed. It's not unique to the negative side. AI does the exact same thing. It accomplishes the internal link. And then on pandemics, again, we turned that because it solves for overfishing, and overfishing causes wars. On the affirmative case, Bostrom, give me an RVI because at the end of the day, it's still a time suck. And still, I give you a warrant that says that using racist helicopters is fine. On inequality, no massive unemployment, maldistribution is the point. Make him actually answer the case. And on environment, again, extend energy use causing overextension or over whatever. Then that's that.
Okay, I'm gonna take my 4 minutes of prep. Okay. Order is going to be, there's going to be no new cards. Order is going to be space disad, food security disad, pandemics, and then the AF. AF is top down. Okay, is anybody not ready? we're going to start off with a space disad. We're going to be tossing this out the window, basically kick this from the flow. We'll concede asteroid weaponization. That's their new 20. Now we're going to get onto the food security disad. Basically, their entire argument here that they try to give is that AGI is not needed in order to self-improve, but only AGI models are able to currently succeed. AI models instead of the current status quo currently fail. That's our Louis et al. 23 card. And then, yeah, again, we can basically extend the Crib 19 and the Star 17 card, mainly talking about how food insecurity is going to lead to major nuclear war, and nuclear war will end up killing us all. That's extinction. Yeah, they try to basically like turn this by saying that like, nuclear war essentially isn't going to cause extinction within the pandemics disad and the response to it. But again, that's our Star 17 card. Mainly, there's a ton of actual links that we can provide here. The main one specifically being about how exactly, there's going to be state-of-the-art modeling, vast global famine, tons of ozone losses. Again, and weapons are being produced on a much larger scale right now, so this only exponentially gets worse as we continue. Now we're going to get onto the pandemics disad. The first main response that they try to give is basically turning it by saying the disease stops overfishing, but also disease also leads to extinction itself. That's Iglesias 22. Presumed negative because there are no the harms that come with diseases and large-scale pandemics like COVID. We've already seen this kill off tons of the population. This is something that we can actively see. We have not seen major fishery conflict ever causing extinction or mass loss of life. So yeah, again, like you should basically be voting negative on presumption on that alone. They basically also try to give a ton of other arguments saying that like even if nukes don't cause extinction, it does like if overfishing wipes out like fish population, but there's other sources of food as well. And again, we can even cross apply the food security disad, specifically talking about again how AGI right now is going to be extremely key for food security within the future. Now we're going to get onto the AF. We're going to start off with framing mainly. Again, we're going to be just basically using util within this round, but we're going to talk a bit more about the Bostrom IVI. For starters, they say that they try to turn this by saying they try to turn this and give an RVI by saying that it allows us to learn, and that's their Darcy 17. However, we can learn from other authors on util besides reading him in debate is endorsing the use of his literature when he himself is a problematic person. He is literally an active racist. It's the same reason that we reject authors like Heidegger and et cetera and that kind of stuff. They say to give them an RVI, but no RVIs. It means that you're just going to bait the RVI in order to win on abuse. So basically, like there's no point to giving them an RVI here because all it's just doing is continuously endorsing the use of racist literature within debate. They also try to basically say that like using racist authors is fine, but like that's an IVI within itself. No, it's not. It's keeping racist authors in the sphere of debate. Only the IVI solves because it keeps you from reading exclusionary arguments within the debate space that specifically exclude black debaters from being able to make arguments because the own author that they're using literally just hates their existence. Now we're going to go and get onto mainly top down onto case. For starters, we're going to start with inequality. The main thing that they try to talk about is how it's going to essentially cause unemployment on a mass scale. However, we have the Economist 25 card that specifically turned this by saying, no, there's not going to be any mass unemployment whatsoever. Yeah, again, there's going to be tons of entertainment demand, physical jobs, and cooperative human advantages that simply put themselves above AGI for certain things. Besides, like people, like they're not going to want to go to like a sports game and then watch, robots play against each other. On their second contention, which is mainly about the environment, we're going to turn this basically by saying that AGI won't drain resources. It will advance energy efficiency and mitigate waste. Again, that's our Singh and Carter 24 card, mainly talking about how basically AGI itself is the key in order to solve this impact whatsoever. That's a turn on environment contention, basically a net benefit to us ourselves. Onto their contention 3, which is specifically regulation. Again, we basically say, again, there's basically no link whatsoever. All these basically tech takeover scenarios are completely science fiction. They ignore like all the actual realistic properties of AGI. They basically try to throw this into a massive theoretical. And then, yeah, they also talk about, we'll also get onto like extinction risk specifically. They talk about how there's going to be things like bioweapons, terrorism, nanotechs, killer robots, and all these other different existential risks. But again, all these threats are overblown fear-mongering, and they're currently distracting from the current harms that we're facing within the real world. That's our Wolverton 24 card. Now, yeah, we have a minute 30 left. So again, we're basically just going to go over the key voters within the debate. The first thing that you're going to be voting off of is the food security disad, specifically how AGI is the only method current AI models do not solve. That's our Louis et al. 23 card. And again, without that, that's extinction, start 17. You're also going to be voting off of the pandemics disad, specifically talking about how AGI is going to be revitalizing the healthcare and pandemic preparedness. They mainly try to give a ton of links about how like disease itself will end up stopping overfishing, but it also links to extinction itself. And again, without that extinction, Iglesias 22. And then the most important thing within this debate that you're mainly going to be voting off of is the Bostrom IVI, because endorsing racist literature within debate itself is extremely problematic, and it means that you should auto rejecting this team immediately. So yeah, vote negative.
Now I'm going to take the rest of my, I think, minute 11 prep. I'll start that now. Okay, that's time. Okay, so the order of the speech is going to be the IVI, and then it's going to be neg case, av case, just kind of straight down. Okay, is anyone not ready? Okay, then get started. First on the IVI with Bostrom, extend Darcy 17. He tells you that essentially we should be able to pick apart the art, like the literature of racist philosophers. In fact, he says that it's more educational. Extend Darcy 17 because education is the primary purpose of this round, which means that we should not vote on that IVI. In fact, vote on the RVI. He says don't give me an RVI because people can just get really good at RVIs. However, yes, it's an RVI just due to time suck, because if I prove that I'm fair, that means I just wasted a bunch of my time talking about this IVI. So extend Darcy 17. He hasn't given an actual response to this other than the fact that I'm endorsing the author, not endorsing the author. We're picking apart the literature of a racist philosopher. Moving on, talking about the negative case. First, he kicks out Space School. You still want to use that turn and you still want to talk about how it's still going to be bad, because if AGI or AI can be used for Space School, that's going to be a reason that you still want to affirm. That's still a reason to be immoral, whether you evaluate on the negative side or not. On food insecurity, he essentially says that AI models right now fail, but yes, maybe they fail right now, but that's still not a reason to develop AGI. We can just continue to develop normal, narrow AI, but he doesn't give you a reason why AGI is uniquely key other than the fact that it can self-improve. Well, yes, it can self-improve, but that's still not an inherent reason to try to develop AGI with all the added risk. On pandemics, he drops the fact that I say that AI releases pandemics. I read you a bunch of cards. First, I read you the card that talks about how AI releases pandemics and biotech and nanotech into the world. He completely drops that. And so I kick out of the turn essentially because we're just going to focus on the fact that AI releases pandemics. So you extend that through. And with that, his entire case falls and the space cold turns. On the affirmative case, on inequality, he still doesn't seem to get the point. What I'm talking about here specifically is maldistribution of wealth. That's what causes the impacts of the card rather than just unemployment, even if I concede economics 25. But rather, my author also gives you like a warrant for the fact that why that unemployment is going to be happening. While the economics 25 card doesn't make much sense, but you don't really have to listen to that. On the environment, again, he says that it turns and it helps with energy, but that's still not what my warrants are talking about. First, I give you two warrants. The first warrant talks about how fossil fuel, like AI goes into fossil fuel industries. That is uniquely different from just energy use. But then I talk about how energy will use, like AGI requires so much energy and growth will be short-lived. Tells you that's going to boil the surface of the earth in 400 years. That's a really big claim, and that causes extinction, and it's gone completely conceded in the round. Again, my opponent has not attacked speed over safety in my third contention. Speed over safety is what like completely ruins his case, because at the point where we're not prioritizing safety over speed, his impacts happen, and speed over safety is happening right now. And like I say that we're on track to go rogue on its own due to self-preservation. On existential risk, he says it's fear-mongering. It's not fear-mongering. It's still a very real risk. Extend emergency ethics, which tells you that even if there's a super small chance of extinction happening, you still ought to affirm. For those reasons, vote affirmative on the RVI and on all substance. Thus, I affirm.
Good debate.
Good debate. Good debate.